Hi there, interior design lovers. Welcome back to the Business of Beautiful Spaces, the podcast where we blend design inspiration with all behind-the-scenes tips and tricks you need to thrive in your business. I'm your host, Laura Thornton, and with over 27 years in this interior design game and running a 7-figure design company, trust me, I've seen it all. I want to be your interior design bestie. I want to help you build the business of your dreams, make more money, and yes, ditch the stress along the way. I've been doing this for a long time, and now I'm sharing my knowledge with all of you, my fellow designers and decorators. All I ask in return is that you like, review, and follow this podcast wherever you listen, so other designers can find us and learn more too. So grab a coffee, get comfy, and let's dive into making 2025 your best business year yet. Welcome back to the Business of Beautiful Spaces. I'm Laura Thornton, and if you have made it this far, Part 4, the grand finale of our special series on building truly profitable design businesses. If you've joined me the whole journey, thank you. If you're jumping on now, just go back and catch the last 3 episodes. They're short, they're sweet, they're averaging about 15 minutes each one. We are talking numbers, we are talking time tracking, and we are claiming our efficiency gains as profits at this point. So now the final episode is all about bringing that together and focusing on what actually works for your bottom line. Because here is what I know. Your business needs a blueprint, not just a brand board. Pretty is great, but profitable and sustainable, that's the goal. So let's wrap up the series with one of the most powerful strategies in your business toolkit. Reviewing your numbers regularly was our first one. Our second one was make sure you are time tracking. The third one was the efficiency gains. They belong to you. Tackled. Everyone's done their homework, I trust. Let's move on to the next part, which is leaning into what's profitable, even if it's not sexy. You've heard me say it before. You'll hear me say it again. Not every project is sexy. Not all the work we do is Instagrammable, but sometimes the least glamorous jobs are the ones that make your business truly profitable. If I told you how many projects I have and photos of, not professionally because I didn't invest in them, that I didn't love, but were very profitable, you would probably be shocked. And do I need to love every single thing, or does the person who lived there need to love every single thing about that space? So, for example, I've had projects that back when I first started building my business that I would go in and I would just do a few things for people. It was not full home renos. It was not full home procurement. It was, I need a room of drapery and a sofa. And I would go in and do the main floor drapery. Then they would fall in love with that one room and then they needed it everywhere. And I was like, great. That's an easy thing for me. I can pick all your drapes and come in and install them all, but you can't photograph them because none of the furniture would be anything I would have ever selected. But a main floor drapery job with a high markup and a trusted vendor, you can make a lot more money than your design time to design a kitchen, where you're going to walk away and not have anything after that. So these are things that you need to start looking at your projects and which ones are more profitable and why. Where are your highest profit margins? And where are you able to dive into that to be able to carry the month that you figured out back in series part 1? You figured out how much it costs to run your business and you were trying to reverse engineer how many projects you needed to do or how many paid consultations you need to do. This is a place where you can start to figure this out very easily. If you just did a few projects with some of your higher grossing projects and profit margins, these are the places that maybe we would spend a little bit more attention. So I've also had projects where the boring window treatments, custom pillows, and a series of styling jobs have paid more profit than some of the home full transformations that everybody loves to drool over on social media. They also took a lot shorter period of time. I was in and out in 6 weeks, and some of these projects take over 2 years that we end up photographing. So don't be afraid to lean into what works. When you know your numbers, you can pick and choose what's truly sustainable. I've been a guest on many podcasts for other podcast hosts, and I was asked once by a business coach, an interior design business coach, if I have a preset figure that I will not, basically, if someone called me, do I have a number that unless it's their budget is 50,000, 200,000, whatever, will I not take the job? And I said, no, that doesn't exist here. And they were shocked. And I said, it doesn't mean anything. There's no context with that. So I don't have that on my website. And for me, because I have so much data and analytics in my background, I know how much money I can make and I know which projects are more lucrative. So if I get 2 or 3 calls in a week from certain clients who want certain things and I can only fit one client in, I know which one is going to profit more money for me in this business. I am more than likely going to take that job. That to me makes sense. That helps me move my needle forward. That helps my profits. That helps make sure that I have staff in this office that can get paid for. And that to me makes sense. I mean, of course, there could be some, situations. It might be a past client who needs something and I know that they will be building more. Fine. But just apples to apples, don't know these people. 3 people call in. One wants a powder room reno, one wants a whole room of furniture, and one wants artwork. I know which one I'm taking because I know my numbers. And I know where I can make the most money. And I know how fast I can turn it around. And I know how much time it takes this office to produce it. So I don't have a minimum because to me, it's irrelevant. I'd have to talk to the individual during our discovery call. And within that discovery call, I'm going to know what they're looking for and I can figure out where my profits are going to land. So that's why I say don't be afraid to lean into what works. As you start to get more comfortable with your numbers, you can start making these choices for you and your business, which will definitely help you stay more profitable and it'll help you sustain, which is paramount. So one of the habits that I do teach in the Profit Academy is the post-project review. And after every job, you have to ask yourself and your team, what was most profitable? What felt easy and efficient? And where did we lose time or money? And did we hit our margin goals? Because as I've mentioned before, we always look at our numbers before we present to make sure it is falling into the range that we need to be profitable in this business and to be able to pay for everything that this business needs to pay for, plus make money. So we know all of that before we present. So some things happen, things go awry. Like I've done 3 trips this week to our furniture manufacturer, not because I want to, but because there's a problem with something. And now I don't have the confidence that it's going to be attractive when it shows up. So I need to keep going back there. Well, that wasn't allotted for. We allotted for 1 site visit over there to our furniture manufacturer to review everything, not 2, not 3. So this is where you start to eat profits and you need to be marking this down. And if you're tracking your time, you will know, and then you're going to apply it to that job. So not only is it my time, I also drove there. So there is gas and there is kilometers on my car. And if you have any paid toll roads to get there. So there's all these other things that you need to start adding towards that job that aid into your margin so that you don't have a surprise at the end of the month. You're like, I don't understand. There was all this margin built into this project, but I have nothing left to show for it. So this is why it is so important to go back and do basically your post-project mortem, post-mortem project, autopsy, if you will, of your projects. It's an honest reflection that helps you double down on what's working and you can course correct for the future. And it helps you avoid burnout, feast or famine cycles, and that feeling of I'm busy, but I'm not getting ahead and I'm not making money. Nothing feels worse when you can't figure out how you're this busy, but there's nothing to show for it. So smart designers don't just track their sales. They're also tracking their profitability. And that's a shift that is going to change everything in your business. So you became a designer to create beautiful spaces. But that doesn't mean that your business should not run without having chaos and hoping that your fingers are crossed and everything's going to work out. You need a blueprint, a regular review rhythm. And I really can't tell you enough how much I'm going to stress. I recommend you reviewing your numbers, not just quarterly, as we kind of touched on back in part 1, but monthly. And not just at tax time. Make it a habit. Just like checking your emails or updating your portfolio. Mine is Friday mornings, every Friday morning. I started off with my head in the sand and never wanted to look at them and only looked at them like 3 weeks before I had to hand everything over to my accountant at the end of the year. Then as my business grew and I knew I needed to change, I started looking at it monthly. And that gave me more confidence and more power, feeling like I had my handle on it. Well, I have to tell you, I look at my bank account every single day, probably multiple times a day. I have QuickBooks open on my desk every single day, and I review my numbers weekly. So nothing will get out of hand before I can correct it. But I'm not asking you to do that. You're going to build to that all on your own. I am just asking you to start once a month. If that feels overwhelming, just once a month, schedule it into your calendar and make sure you're looking at your numbers. You can't stop the bleed if you're not aware. So here is your action plan. You have tracking your time and your expenses. as we already discussed in the previous series. You're reviewing your profit margins on every project, every product and service, and you're going to review it monthly. You're going to prioritize the services that scale profit, not just hours. And remember, profit is not a dirty word. Don't feel bad that you're in this in the business to make money. It's the fuel that lets you do your best creative work. It serves your clients, you pay your team, and you're investing in you and your future. So, as we wrap up this series, I want to encourage you to look for what's profitable, not just what's pretty. Lean into the work that supports your business and your lifestyle. Don't be afraid to make decisions that are good for you, your team, your future, even if it means taking on a few unsexy projects along the way to help you hit those numbers. And remember that every quote, every proposal, every item is an opportunity to grow your profits. And if you're paying attention to the numbers behind the scenes, you will be able to design beautifully, build confidently, and build the business that supports the life that you actually want. I really hope you found value in this 4-part series. I broke it down so it didn't feel so overwhelming and you could do it in little chunks. You can always save this. I know it's back to back to back and it's summertime and we're all trying to manage a lot of things, but you can always save it and do these things at your own pace. I'm not asking you to dive in and tackle it all. If you want to, I think that is amazing. The faster you do it, the faster you're on the path for the up in your profits. And if you did like this, would you please do me a huge favor? There are so many of you, thousands of you that listen every week, but not everybody follows and not everybody will leave a review. But if you do, there's more designers that we can help and more decorators that will hear this and will be able to get faster where they want to be. So I really appreciate you joining me on this journey. I can't wait to hear about all the beautiful, profitable spaces that you're building inside and out.